Good morning, mob family. All right, all right, all right. Check this screen open. Make sure it's open on the too. Welcome, mob family. Wait, my closer, my opener's not arriving, huh? She's MIA. Ready for the closing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mob episode, Mob TV Kaffeeklatsch, episode 104. Wow, it's amazing that we're at 104. All right, let me know if you can hear me. Wow, there's a lot of people to say good morning to. Let me see. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Evan. Good morning, Chris Mendoza. Good morning, everyone on YouTube. Hello. I don't know who the Facebook user is, but I'm sure. Good morning, Paige. Good morning, Rico. You did make it today. And yes, your name is showing. Let's see. Who's this one? After Connie, another Facebook user. Good morning, Heather. Welcome, Heather. Marie, good morning. Good morning, Laura. Let's see. Good morning, Renee. Laura, good morning. Who's that? Tamra, good morning. New comments. Stacy, good morning. I think that's everyone. Who must cut up? Sandra? Is it Sandra? Good morning, Sandra. Is that Sandra Massey? Oh, good morning, Sandra. Sandra with an O, right? Good morning, Sandra. Who's the last good morning? I do not know. Because I have to give StreamYard permission. Good morning. Oh, I clicked on the name. Sorry, Stacy. Good morning, Mark. Jasmine. It's a little laggy over here. That's why. Anthony, good morning. Let's see. That should be off on your side. Look, it's still on my side. Who? Tamra. Say good morning to Tamra. Who's the last Facebook user? Is that Jasmine? Sandra. Okay. Anyone else? Good morning, Sarah. David Lamb? Yeah, sounds like a new name. Good morning, David. I know that the last person said I can't make up weird stuff about you said it is Jasmine, right? Good morning, Jasmine. Yes, Stacey's here. You cannot make up weird stuff about her today. I hope you're all doing well. Over here, it's pouring. It's been pouring since 6 a.m. So let's see. I love the subtle. Oh, that's Glenn. Good morning, Glenn. The subtle merch advertising. It's my new. What is this called? Distressed. This is like distressed cap. So yeah. Is it blurry on your end? It says, yeah, I think that's because of the weather. It's really bad over here right now in terms of rain and it's crazy. So I don't know how to fix this. I restarted, rebooted. It's the internet. My internet loves me. So I don't know what to tell you. How's the audio? Is the audio okay? Yeah, I think over here it's just the internet acting funky. Okay. And who's Happy Friday fan? Who's going? Morning, David. Happy Friday to you as well. So I hope you're all doing well. We'll make do. We've had worse technical issues. Oh man, it's a good morning. It's a very good morning. Well, let's get started. Let's say hello to everyone. Hello everyone at YouTube. Huge shout outs to everyone, to my tribe, to everyone, my sister, everybody who's out there, who's directly connected to me. Good morning. Yeah, rain in the system, ghost in the machine kind of thing, Chris. So shout out to everyone. Let's see. Good morning, everyone at YouTube. So we're at okay. I'm just making sure everyone gets the good morning. I don't want anyone to feel left out. So good morning to my tribe. Good morning to everyone on YouTube. Good morning to everyone on Facebook. Good morning to everyone around the world. How's that? Is that better? Good morning to everyone on the planet. Good morning to everyone on this plane. If you happen to be on a different plane and you manage to hear us, good morning to you too. If you happen to be in a different time stream and you caught this production, good morning wherever you are. we should just do it with Good Morning World. I like that one. Shout out to everyone on YouTube who's following us. If you haven't, you should. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So help us get there. You guys are awesome, and spread the word. Let everyone know. Let's get that 1,000 because it'd be awesome to get there. We're not in any hurry, obviously, but we'd like to get to 1,000 and then 100,000 and then 1,000,000. So it'd be awesome. We're at Bin Peaches Publishing Storyteller, so you can find us there on YouTube. On Instagram, I've been told that I need to post more stuff on Instagram that's not just quotes. So I'll be trying to do some book covers. Maybe we can hire a photographer to put up on Instagram. We can hire a photographer to take pictures that we can put up on Instagram. So I'll be putting up book covers. Entropy. We have the latest Stray Dogs. Maybe we'll do Stray Dogs. Stray Dogs isn't up on Instagram yet. We have a cover. We have a book here of Stray Dogs. Ooh. Ah. Okay, so we'll do that. And other things, other assorted things, other book-related assorted things that we can put on Instagram. Yeah, Glenn, this is like Dolly made this one today, and my Death Wish is Death Wish Extra Death today. So it has a real punch / kick. So yeah, the sound in picture gets funky. It's like pixelated, but it's because of the weather. It's not anything because of our connection, because the connection is really good. But the weather kind of fucks around with almost said something else. It's a PG show. It messes around with the internet. So, Really? That's funny. Putting words in my mouth, closed captioning. Okay. So we're on Instagram at Bin Peaches, so find us there. We'll be getting current with some posts and new posts and pictures and things that are awesome. So just to kind of make it a little bit more current and increase our Instagram audience as well. And just some novel things and some current things, and we're a few books behind on Instagram because I think the last thing I posted on Instagram is probably like Lost Dreams. We're on Entropy, so even probably before. No, I think Lost Dreams was the last thing I posted on Instagram. Dolly is beyond amazing. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without her by my side. So it's incredible, and she's incredible. All right, on Zazzle. So this is swag from Zazzle. I have my other hat is from Zazzle. We got plenty of shirts and it's so many things. I can't even describe how many things we have on Zazzle that are Mountain Strong related. So not even just Mountain Strong related. We got stuff from Gatekeepers, and we got some amazing fleeces on there. Oh man, because Zoya took all my fleeces and they make her tent, and we might need some for this winter. So I might have to order a fleece. So yeah, that F-bomb, who was that? I caught the F-bomb in time. Paige. Yeah, Paige, that F-bomb went, it was a serious screeching sound. So yeah, I tried not to. I don't, I'm not a prude. I did write a book with John Logsdon, so I'm aware of where I could go, but I try not to drop them too gratuitously. Okay, so please go to Zazzle. We're at M&S on Zazzle, so it's Zazzle.com, and M&S is EMANDES, so you can find us there. And just get your swag. There's a lot of swag there. Dolly's working. She's our lead designer, so has ideas, and she'll be working on dropping off new stuff there and creating new things for. She's busy with other stuff, so the Zazzle stuff is a little bit. It's not as current as it could be because she's busy in other aspects of the business right now. So, but there's so much there that she doesn't need to have. Okay, new thing this week, new thing this month. There's a lot there. So go peruse and get something for yourself. So we have new patrons. Okay, wow, this is good. Okay, so a huge shout out to Jeff Siegel, Barry Maggard, Cindy DePorter, Carrie O'Leary, and Diane Wagner, and Maureen McCowan, who increased her pledge. So you guys are fantastic and awesome. Huge shout out to all the new patrons. Huge shout out to all the patrons, period. And so thank you. I really appreciate you guys going above and beyond. That's amazing. So what is this, the Zazzle store? the infamous Facebook user who never puts her name. So this is our Zazzle store. Use that reference link so we can kind of track what's going on. It helps with our analytics. And you go there, peruse, look around, browse, see if there's something you like, and go pick up something, okay? When is the new e-newsletter coming out? Do you know? The e-newsletter is going out yesterday. We worked through different, so we're huge Doctor Who fans, so we work on different time zones. So the new newsletter is going out yesterday, and so you'll get it tomorrow, I guess, if it went out yesterday. So there you go. I'm thinking of this link. Our Patreon link is here. Patreon link. So this is the Patreon link. It'll show up in a moment or two. Oh, let's see, what else do we have? BookBub. We're on BookBub, so follow us there. Just go to bookbub.com and follow us there. And you can just leave social proof and say, oh, I read this book, it was great. Oh, I read this book and he needs to write more, or whatever the case may be. But just leave an honest review, please. It'd be awesome. That's all I think. That's the most we can ask, is just leave an honest review. Truly appreciate it. We're also on Binge Books, which has been really great about showcasing our books. It was amazing. They do a great job. So go to bingebooks.com. You can join and add your reviews there. I think that's it for now. We'll talk about the book and audio updates a little later as we progress in the show. How are you guys doing? It's awesome. Are we discussing marbles? Because I think I lost mine. Did anyone have any extra marbles? All right, here, let me put up the YouTube channel to subscribe. For those of you that are not on YouTube, it's actually moving a little faster now. It's when then I say that, it's not doing anything, of course. So yeah, Paige put up, I think it was Paige. No, I think it was James Wheat. Someone put up a great image of a cloudy cloudy peaches, which looked amazing. For a second, I thought it was Paige's AI work because it looked so good. This peach's head in the clouds, and the eyes were looking at you. It was amazing. So I think that was James who put it up, James Wheat, but that one was really, really impressive. It captured the feel of peaches, which was awesome. Yeah, it was James Wheat. Okay, I just want to make sure. I always attribute it to Paige because she's the one that's always doing AI stuff, AI images. So yeah. All right, we cannot, because entropy is in shreds right now. It's in the art. We can't spoil it for anyone. So we have to, if we're going to discuss things about entropy, it has to be spoiler free because it's in the midst of shreds. And so I love to discuss it. Jeanette's not going to be here today, but she was like squeeing about the book. It's just I'm not going to be in the show today. One, because for her, the show's at 3-something in the morning. So every time she's here, I'm amazed. But second is because she said she's in the shred. She said, I just read it, and if I go there, I'm gonna be happy sharing, and I'm gonna spoil the book for people. So I don't want to do that. Yes, Marie, it's a great image. I don't know where James got it. I don't know if it's an AI image, but Paige, take a look at that. That's an awesome image if you haven't seen it. So yes, so what can I discuss about entropy? Because I'm very much in Jeanette's camp about I want to do happy sharing, but I also don't want to ruin it for anyone. I can't. Can I ruin it for anyone? No, I won't ruin it for anyone. But I can share general things about the book. I can't share specifics, but I can do general things. Let's see. Some of the things that are in entropy that I can share without spoiling is, and I think in every book that I've written. So you know how books have themes, right? Let me just hide this because it's always good to just not have this. I'm trying to hide it. So books have themes, and over time I realized that most of my books, the themes of most of my books, unconsciously, I think, in a way, even without me realizing it, have always revolved or have always been centered on family. Not so much the family that you're born into, but the found family that you have, the family that you make. So this is the binge books link, by the way, guys. And so over time, through the writing that I've read and written, I've realized that the central thing to most of my stories is family. It really became apparent when I wrote Stray Dogs. Stray Dogs hit home for me in terms of, okay, I wanted to write something different from Monty and Strong, and a lot of people were saying it's not as humorous as Monty and Strong. It's true because Sebastian has a different kind of interaction dynamic with the members of the supernatural director of the Stray Dogs. But I would say the closest relationship that's to Sebastian is Tiger, right? But it doesn't have the snark of Simon because that's just not the way it works. It's more like Sebastian is the dad of the group. I wouldn't say Tiger is the mom, but she's probably the closest thing to the mom. But she's also the one that feels the freest to speak to Sebastian that way. So it's not really snark, but it's very tongue-in-cheek at times. She's also very dangerous, and Sebastian has to constantly be reining her in. So I was reading a little bit of Stray Dogs because I'm getting ready for Shadow Queen, which is book 2. And that's coming up. I'm writing that now. And so, like, I'm writing it now, even though Entropy's in shreds, and I'll be writing straight Shadow Queen, and I'll be writing Corpse Road, which is M&S 22. Let me just hide this now. And so I was reading Stray Dogs and realizing, yeah, this is very much, it's the theme is very much about family. And family and trust and, you know, putting your trust in someone who you created a certain bond with. So, yeah, I think that's all I can say about Entropy. I really don't want to spoil Entropy for anyone. But, yeah, the red cover is really good. I mean, every cover that DDD makes is incredible. The cover that I used for this MoB, this Kaffeeklatsch, that green one with the guy in the background and Monty and Simon looking phenomenal. That's for cover 31, I think, for book M&S 21, called Nemesis. And that cover is incredible. Like the Fast and Furious series. I don't know what you mean, Anthony. I mean, Fast and Furious only went up to 10. But yes, oh yeah, Fast and Furious is about family. So this is very much like that, like Fast and Furious. Yeah. But like Chris is saying, the family you collect by living. So it's really the family, it's found family, you know? When is Strong going to start using some of that necromancy he's got? Next book, Evan, in Corpse Road. Because as you can hear, Corpse Road, the book, it starts impacting Simon's necrotic ability with Evan's soul. So it's definitely. What do you want to crossover with, Stacy? With the Stray Dogs and Monty and Strong? We already kind of had one. Marie wants to know who's getting verklempt here. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, Stacy. That one part, I guess I can mention this. I don't know if I can mention it. The one part we discussed, Stacy, it was really hard to write. I can say that much. That part was hard because remember I just lost Winter recently, my dog. So when I wrote that part, it was like gut punch. It was hard. So yeah. Marie wants to know, Dolly, if we're gonna ship overseas, because overseas. Because overseas would love to have some of them. So you heard that? She said, we're working on it. So she is working on it. She's trying to find different. I'll put it to you like this.
An excited reply, not
She's like, we're working on it. Not like she's upset. We're working on it. It's not that kind of we're working on it. But we're working on it in the sense of she's really looking at different options to find the best way to ship, not just overseas, just everywhere around the world. Because we have readers really everywhere. We have readers pretty much everywhere, all around the world. So she's trying to find a way that's the most cost effective for us to ship. For those of you that want physical books, that is. Digital books, obviously you guys can get anywhere. And Chris is volunteering to fly overseas. Look at that. You see? Chris goes above and beyond to fly overseas and deliver them. Michelle, you made it finally. You're substitute teacher for upper school American history today. Wow, that's actually a really good subject that I dealt a lot with last summer. When did Zoya have prep history? Last summer I was really deep in American history. Yes. So Stacy wants to, so she says, I want to cross over now that everyone is stronger. I've been doing a reread of all the books. Each one has a family trust theme. All together, I'm verklempt. I'm so sorry. I understand. But yeah, there will be, I don't know if there's gonna be more crossover because Sebastian's world, even though it aligns in a way with Monty and Strong, the Stray Dogs, they move in a much darker world. It would be easier for them to align or to have a crossover with Gray and Coda than Monty and Strong. It's two very, they move in different spheres of influence, but the Night Warden and the Stray Dogs align closer, and they would probably, if it were a Venn diagram with all three, Monty and Strong wouldn't overlap as much with their world, but Stray Dogs and Night Warden really overlap a lot more. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, so I'm guessing that's Jasmine about the ladies of M&S. That's interesting. There are a lot of ladies in M&S. I've noticed. There are quite a few, and they're all scary. Oh yeah, I'll get us. Okay, Maria, I'll just get like one of those steamer trunks. We use Rain steamer trunk, that big trunk that she takes to that teacup, and we'll just stuff that with books. The love interest. Oh, did I catch heat for Entropy? I got so much heat. Oh, who's that just said I'm going back to sleep? Craig and Dragon, get back to sleep. 4 hours of sleep. That's no, go back to sleep. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. But go get some sleep. 4 hours is not enough. We'll accept Chris as yeah, Chris. We'll ship Chris. So anywhere we need to send books, we're just gonna ship Chris. So Chris can go to any area. With everyone thinking Monty went dark, it would make a cross. Yeah, it would. But after you read Entropy, who's that? With everyone thinking, is that Sandra? Sandra. So after Entropy, yeah, that's not gonna be. That's not as viable after Entropy. You'll see. Once you read Entropy, you'll see that's not as viable. Jasmine, Roxanne, and Chi specifically. What about Roxanne and Chi specifically? I'm curious, Jasmine. What you and Stacey were discussing. I mean, I was just starting to like Chi now. It's a complicated thing, Stacey, with Simon and Chi. Like if you read the subtext of what was going on, their feelings for each other are very strong, but there's so much going on around them that it's very hard for them to pursue that in both their worlds, right? Yeah, if you've ever been married more than once, if you've ever been married, but if you've ever been married more than once, the love interests in Entropy are very close to life. Now you love her. What's that? Who's that? Oh, no, I see. Yeah. It's not a lack of trust. But we can't really go into it. But yeah, it's how do I put it? There's a lot of complicated situations occurring around them. And I can't say much more than that. Sorry to everyone who's hearing these half conversations. But we really, anytime we have a mob, when there's a book in shreds, it's always like this. I apologize. Yeah. That they could be more trusting and show more concern, but they're also long living and not. Yeah. And so, trust but verify. Who's that? That you? Oh, Jasper. Yeah. Now she pissed me off. You can join Davina, Stacey, because Davina's always pissed off at Chi. So it's just like that. It's just and despite the fact that there are certain lines in the book that lend to a different genre, I'm not gonna go there. The tension between them is, as I say, palpable. Are you hearing the kissing sounds in the background? Yeah. That's what I have to live with. So remember you got to deal with Izanami and the influence in Evansol, and she's dealing with the Dark Council, and there's a whole bunch of stuff happening there that has to be resolved. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that doesn't allow them to just whisk away and just live happily ever after. That's not going to happen. So it's not that kind of book. Sorry. No, but Stacy, I agree. If I trust you, I trust you. If you trust me, you trust me, and that's it. Period. I completely have that position. I completely, that's my position personally. But in terms of in terms of Chi and Simon, it doesn't work that way all the time. So there are outside influences that can impact that. And it's like Dex said, that wasn't necessary, but it was a whole thing. Again, we're doing entropy talk. Sorry. We're dealing with the deviance of the emoting and the sword. Yes, it's true, Michelle. She didn't live that long by blind trust, right? She wouldn't be alive if you remember Rule of the Council, going back to that trilogy. She trusted the people who were in Rule of the Council. She almost paid for it with her life. So she's got trust issues, and it's not an accident. It's like she's been around for a long time. Don't forget she's also the reaping wind. So for her, trust doesn't come easily. And recently in Rule of the Council, she was betrayed by those she thought were family. And so it's coming more from that place than the fact that she doesn't trust someone. Yeah, Tamara. And it had to happen sooner or later because Tamara's saying, I knew there was going to be trouble when that Blade started talking to Simon. It had to happen because the Blade was part of the set that was given to Gray. So if you guys don't remember, if you guys aren't familiar with how Gray got Dark Spirit, which is the sword that has Izanami in it, Ken gave it to Monty, and Monty gave it to Hades, and then Hades gave it to Gray. So the Ken to Monty was to safekeep it. So the Monty to Hades was also to safekeep it. The Hades to Gray is the bestowing that you have to be suspect of, but why Hades would give it to Gray. So the first two, Ken to Monty and Monty to Hades, those were all to keep the sword safe. Hades to Gray, there are ulterior motives there, why that would happen. So that's what you have to have suspect of. Now, Evansol is the second. So if you look at the old Japanese swords, there was always a katana and a wakizashi, which is a short sword that they would use to commit seppuku, right, to kill themselves. Like, and then the second would take off the head, right? So that short sword is what Simon has. It's about 18 to 24 inches long. It's about this long, right? If you can determine size on the screen. And that's Evansol, which is the second part of the second sword in that set. Samurai of old always used to carry two swords. A really high elite samurai would carry the katana and the second sword. Those were the ones who were allowed to carry this. So because they're part of the same set, some of this essence of Izanami is in Evansol. And it's just now starting to kind of wake up. You look at some of the conversations you see, and Simon's not having any of it, obviously. But that's going to be factoring in later more and more. Yeah, so who said that? I also think Dex set that up to make Simon think about things too. Yes, Sandra. So Dex is wily. If you haven't figured it out by now, Dex is wily. And the things that he's doing with Simon, not even the things that he's doing with Simon, the things that he's doing with the School of Battle Magic, right? The fact that he was able to relocate the entire Golden Circle sect, kind of kick out the elders, keep the sect, reorient it, realign it, and then say, okay, this is going to be the Montague School of Battle Magic, that's going to have major repercussions later on because you don't just take a sect like that. And though Dex is really strong, it's going to cause ripples, and there are going to be a lot of upset mages coming at him later on. Let's see. Simon can be prone to looking for ways people won't get hurt or killed. She's just too bloodthirsty for him to consider her suggestion. Yeah, Simon's a good check to that because Simon always leans towards the non-lethal solution because it's just not who he is, right? And when we get to Deadeye, which is, I don't even know what number, that's like book 30, Deadeye. That's how Simon-centric books, very much like Requiem was. And Deadeye is the book that touches upon why Simon didn't take the shot that he was supposed to take. So, but Simon is always like that. Simon will always lean towards the non-lethal solution. So when Izanami is saying you should kill, this is the person you need to kill, Simon's gonna be like, no, shut up. Like, we're not doing this. We're not going that way. Because that's not who he is, right? I mean, even when he faces enemies, he tries to not, he only strikes in self-defense in a way. You think about it. Who's got to run for a meeting? And have a great weekend, whoever you are. Who? Bye, Jasmine. Have a great weekend. Chris says I always carry 2 knives in case one gets stuck in the rib. Yeah. That's a good policy. Rule of thumb is, though, you have to have more than one weapon. So, yeah. At least growing up, besides you being a weapon, you got to carry more than one. So, yeah, I used to have friends who carried, like, an arsenal of who? Yes, separately, yeah, but in general. But the samurai always carried the katana and the second sword. But the second sword was to. Sometimes they used it to fight them. So if their katana got stuck or that. Like Miyamoto Musashi fought with 2 swords. There's an actual school of sword study that focuses on using 2 swords. So, and he founded that school. And just in the tradition is you use a long sword and a short sword. Yeah. Okay, Dex is like a god. Yeah, in a way, he's not exactly a god, but he's really close. Yeah, and this is why his age is ambiguous. His exact power level is ambiguous, because no one has really tested him to find out exactly how strong he is, because he's really, really, really strong. Think about this. His partner is the Morrigan. That should let you know about his power level, where he is in terms of that. All right, is it Dex or is his girlfriend playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers? That's a good question, Anthony. So the Morrigan isn't really that involved in the same way, but she is now directly involved with Simon, right? Because of what happened in the previous book, what happened in Archmage. So let's just say the Morrigan has her own agenda, but really the one you need to watch out for is Hades, because he is the one behind the scenes. If you look at what Hades has been doing, his hands are kind of in every one of the stories. He's in a Wander, he's in Night Warden, he's now he's been in M&S since the beginning, since Tour of the Butterflies. But he's been kind of a lower pace, especially with Mountain Strong. He kind of nudges this way, he does this. He gave Simon peaches. So there's a lot of stuff happening that Hades, you always look back and you can kind of see Hades in the mix. So yeah, that's what you gotta watch out for. Playing 4D chess while everyone is playing tic-tac-toe. So yeah. This says get a hammer and clean my screen back. Who's that? Oh, I'm sorry, Heather. Your screen is acting funky. Still trying to figure out why Kali couldn't curse Monty at the same time. That's a great question that I can't answer for a few books. Sorry. Nico's saying Hades. Yeah, Hades is the one that you gotta. Then what Chris says is what you gotta do, Heather, reboot. Michelle's saying Monty wouldn't give the reactions Kali wants in order to further her agenda, which can last out you. No, and also there's a whole that comes up much later. That question hasn't been addressed, but it hasn't been forgotten either. Because Simon brings it up, and but the answer is not for many, many books. Sorry. But yeah, it's a real question. Yeah. Who's the Still Blue Circle of Buff? Who's that? Who? Oh, sorry, Heather. That doesn't sound too fun. But Hades seems so nice. He is nice, but he's also the god of the underworld. So his agendas might be different from his appearances is nice, but understand that he has agendas. He has things that have to happen, and they don't necessarily have to align with human thought. So he's moving. He's moving in a whole different area, in a whole different sphere. Love any interactions with Hades. Yeah, Kali's a lot of fun. Kali, I can tell you this much. Kali makes an appearance in Entropy, which is a lot of fun. I think I was up to you like this. when I wrote the Kali part in Entropy, I think I did too much Death Wish for that scene. I was like, because it's trippy as hell. That whole Kali scene with Simon. There's a Kali scene with Simon. It's just like you can say Orlando drank way too much Death Wish that day. So because you'll see. I can't say anything more than that, but you'll see. Will we ever see the gods fight? No, because different pantheons and they all kind of respect each other, and no one would really want to mess with Kali anyway. Because if you look back to how it was alluded in recent books, Kali is one of the scarier gods. If you ever do the research, and I know Chris, you have your books. So if you ever have to research, then research Kali. Kali would pretty much kick everyone's butt. Every god is kind of scared of her because of who she is, what her abilities are. She's not just the goddess of creation, she's also a goddess of destruction. And no one really want to mess with her. I think probably maybe some of the Norse pantheon would do it because they're crazy. But they don't really fight. The pantheons don't really fight. Maybe within themselves they fight, but cross pantheon battles, no, we don't. That's like an Avengers Infinity War kind of thing that we're not going to do it that way. But they wouldn't fight each other directly, but like Michelle is saying, that they would do it through proxies. So that's why Kali kind of has the mark of Kali. But at the same time, the mark of Kali is also the bondmate of Peaches. So there's a lot of tugging, push and pull and stuff like that. So you got to kind of look behind the scenes to see what's happening with the characters, you know? Michelle says, I think the gods are fighting through proxy. They're doing what they can without setting off all the pantheons and destroying, not just the world, they'd be destroying planes of existence that they all decided to fight. So that they wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, and Kali is terrifying. Yeah, there's a reason why she's depicted the way she is. Like if you look at all the depictions of Kali, there are none of them where she's friendly and welcoming and rainbows. No. So the goddess that Kali comes from, Shiva's consort, she's the one that's kind of nice and looks. The imagery is nice, but Kali herself is always dark blue, and her tongue sticking out, and she has an assortment of weapons, and in one of the hands she has a head because she just cut off somebody's head. And yeah, so that should let you know the extent of the fearsomeness of the goddess that is Kali, and it's in many places it's considered a death cult because Kali is just a goddess of destruction. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Here we go. This is Chris's. I'm gonna thank you, Chris, for putting up that link. Go let StreamYard have permission to post your name so I know who's talking, because it's like I don't know who you are. I just get Facebook user. Although Dolly can see who you are because she has the link up. She has a page up. But any upcoming Wilder book? What are we at? Steven, is that Steven Huber? Hey, Steven, welcome. Upcoming Wander books. Yeah, but not for a while because we gotta get some. I want to finish Treadwell, which is 3 books, and that'll be the last Treadwell book will be probably in February of next year. After that, I think we'll do another Night Warden because Night Warden is so much fun, and Coda has transformed a bit since the last book, since Nocturne Melody. So the next book is going to be really fun for them. And I've always said this, and I'll continue to uphold this. Writing Gray. So out of all the characters, I think I'm more closely affiliated to Gray in terms of temperament, personality, the way he is. And so it's hard for me to write Gray because it requires a certain kind of shift in thinking and being. So if you notice, there's a lot of Monsoon Strong. There's only about 3 Night Warden books because Gray's a hard character to write. Also because he's so close to who I am. So it's hard to write me because that's not what I like to do so much. But he's such a great character, and he comes off in a certain way. Remember that he's a dying mage. It's hard to write a character who's terminal because it just hits kind of close to home. And so it's like, he's a great character, but I have to get into a mind space to write him, I have to get into a Gray mood. And getting into a Gray mood, the last time I got into a Gray mood, the mods and the admins say, okay, you need a break because it does mess with my head a little bit, and so it's like I write it sparingly, but when I write it, it's so amazing. But the themes that he touches upon, the way he speaks, the story itself is so impactful that I can only do that. I have to do a lot of other books and then a gray book, and then a lot of other books and a gray book. So gray's like deep and dark, and I won't say depressing, but just deep and dark. And I have to do a lot of not so deep, not so dark, kind of fun, and then more deep and dark. So, but Night Wardens are great books, but it's a dark world. It's funny because it's the same world as Monty Strong in the overall sense, just like the Treadwell Supernatural Directive is the same. It's the same setting, but not the same world. It's interesting because they're all set in the same world, like loosely, but the influences and the spheres that they move in are completely different. Like Sebastian and the Stray Dogs move in a kind of underworld place, like a kind of criminal. The Night Warden just is the one on the streets dealing with the day to day criminality and horribleness that's on the street. That's what the Night Wardens were for, to keep the city safe. And Monson Strong deal with larger issues like what's impacting the entire plane. And so they move in different worlds, different ways, and they touch different areas, although it's kind of the same world. You know? Stacy says, it seems to me that the gods knew Simon's power leaned towards death magic. Hades gave him peaches, Kali Martin, and the more he wants to use it. Yeah, death magic is definitely, and if you look at the necrotic blade, the blade that became necrotic that a wraith gave him, right? So there's a lot of death and stuff like that in Simon's future, but not, but also he's cursed alive, so he's perfect for dealing with that because he becomes the antithesis of death, right? Because he can't die. So there's a lot of that. I removed it, Chris. Yeah, I saw it was up there for a long time, so I need to take it down. So yeah, so Rico, I do have to get into the gray mood, but I love writing Night Warden. It's just that it does kind of take a little bit out of me, more than Mountain Strong, more than any other story that I've written. Gray is the only one that affects me that way. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's just the way it is. And so when I do it, I need to take a break. So that's what I'm doing right now. After Nocturne Melody, I'm taking a break. So it's like I already have the next story already kind of ready, but I have to mentally get ready for it, mentally and physically get ready for it. It's the weirdest thing because none of the other stories affect me the same way Night Warden does. But when I write a Night Warden story, it's a really fun. I love the process, but it's like so draining. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't explain it. Everyone has a different process, and each story is a different process. When I write Mountain Strong, it's the easiest process for me. I write Mountain Strong. Honestly, I can tell you, Mountain Strong almost writes itself. It's amazing how those books are because I'm so in tune with those characters. It's starting to happen the same way with Treadwell, although it's different and it's not as dark as Night Warden. Night Warden writes itself because I know exactly what Gray would do and say and act in any situation. But there's a overarching feel of sadness to the Night Warden stories, and so it always comes from that place of loss and mortality. So where Night Warden has the same theme as family, like the other stories do, there's an overarching sadness and understanding of one's own mortality for Night Warden, which it takes its toll because he's always operating from the point of I can die any moment, or I can let this sword take over and then everybody's gonna kill me because Gray is really powerful. He's not Dex level powerful. He's really powerful. And then if Izanami takes him over and he surrenders to the blade, and surrenders to her, he becomes a serious threat. And so there are fail safes in place, sorry, that if Gray does surrender to the sword, a lot of people are gonna come after him to take him out because he's too dangerous. You know? I can always take the shortest break and write more bonkers and squash. I do have to write more bangers and mash. I do. I will. But A lot of the things that have to happen. Someone just chastised me today that I put everything on the schedule and then I got to change the schedule because I take things off. But see, Bangers and Mash is really weird within the mob. There's a group of the mob that loves Bangers and Mash, and there's a group in the mob that absolutely hates Bangers and Mash. I don't know why, but it's like that. See that? Look, Stacey saying, Marie, please, no. Audrey, how are you? Welcome. Welcome. Thanks. It's really great that you can make it, Audrey. Yeah, as Chris is saying, it's because Gray's always facing his own mortality. Right, exactly. I have another character that's close to Gray, but not the same way, which is John Kane from Blur is close to Gray in that sense. Like, he's aware of his mortality. But Gray is even deeper in terms of that feeling. So, yes. Enid, welcome. But yeah, Bangers and Mash. I don't know. Bangers and Mash is going to take a while for me to write the next one. I already have the next story. Bangers and Mash is what is it? Mistaken Identities is the next one. Well, it's a story where Bangers and Mash gets mistaken for Monty and Simon, for Monty and Strong. And so they come after Bangers and Mash thinking that they're Monty and Strong. They're Monty and Simon. And it's a whole thing about them not being who these people think they are. It's basically a comedy of errors. So it's no one likes Bangers and Mash because it can be annoying and irritating and so goofy. But they're really, really, really fun to write. It's like a parody of it's actually a parody of Monty and Strong. Yeah, because they're the mirror universe of Monty and Strong, but on crack, seen through a funhouse mirror and inverted inside the Twilight Zone. It's just bizarre. Yeah. So yeah, they need to be smushed, right? But they're fun. They're really, really fun. I like the way they operate. Think Monty Strong, opposite Monty Strong, but funny, and that's Bangers and Mash. Yeah. But a lot of people don't like Bangers and Mash, and I completely understand it. Because it's, because it's B&M are written to, for anyone who loves Monty Strong, B&M is written to annoy the fans, the readers of Monty Strong. So yeah, so I don't know what to tell you. It's just like, yeah. The Weird Al take on Monty Strong is basically what it is. Bangers and Mash. Yeah. See, I didn't even give them an animal, but I should give them an animal that's an anti-Peaches. I totally should. Because exactly, like Michelle's saying, they're funny and clueless. But not only are they funny and clueless, they operate like they know what they're doing. So when they encountered Monty Strong in the story, right? Yeah, and then when they speak to Monty and Strong, they're like, okay, let's let the professionals handle this. Okay, we know what we're doing, and they're completely clueless. So it's amazing. It's not that they annoy the readers, Stacy, per se. It's just that they're really fun to write. And so, what can I tell you? What is a nutria? I don't know what a nutria is. A poodle? No. It has to be an anti-Peaches. I don't know what an anti-Peaches would be. It has to be some kind of cat, I guess. A nutria? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna give him a rodent like that. That looks like a big hamster or beaver, an otter. A nutria. No, it has to be like a cat. Connie, thank you so much for being here. And anyone else who's watching this show later on, a huge thank you if you made it this far. I know not everyone can watch it live, but we do record it so you can watch it later on. Yes. Wendy, you made it. Yes. Hello. So yeah, give a Chow Chow a little fluffy dog. No, I'm not gonna give him a Chow Chow. I'm gonna give him some kind of feral cat. A Kusif. No, not gonna give him one of those either. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't given it that much thought because Bangers and Mash is not front of mind right now. So, but they're there. They're in the background, hanging out somewhere. And I always tell Dolly, I gotta write another Bangers and Mash. But we'll see. I have a few short stories or novellas to write in December. I have a Brew and Chew and Cold Girl. So let's go over the book and audio update. So okay, currently we got to get to the questions soon. Entropy is being shredded, which is M&S 21. Shadow Queen is going to be, which is the TSD, Treadwell Supernatural Directive Book 2, will be out at the end of November. And then in December, I'm gonna do Brew and Chew and Cold Girl to close out that trilogy. So there's gonna be a lot of Peaches and Frank and Rags, and I'll see if Peanut makes an appearance in the Brew and Chew and Cold Girl. So that'll be those two novellas will close out the trilogy of Brew and Chew. Then it's gonna be at the end of December a Patreon holiday story. That one's gonna feature. I was gonna have it feature Peanut and Kai, but I think that one's gonna feature Master Yacht. So that's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's called The Sea. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, that one. I think it's gonna be a really nice story. And I'm trying my hand on. No one really knows this yet, but you guys are gonna be the first to hear it. I'm trying my hand on a horror short story. So we'll see how that goes. I'm doing my research on that one. I grew up reading a lot of horror: Stephen King, Dean Koontz, Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft. So we'll see if I can distill some of that into a short story and write a little horror short story for the patrons. Corpse Road, which is Monty Strong 22, will be coming out in January. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got signed books. Oh, this is so awesome. So we got signed books. So contact Dolly, DM her, signed paperbacks. So if you want a signed paperback, contact Dolly. She'll, and it's on the website. So go to our website. What is the website? Can I have the link, please, for that website? Can I put it up? And then our latest audiobook, Revenant, is out. It's on the website. So go to the website if you haven't heard Revenant. Go to the website and you can listen to Kevin T. Collins narrate Revenant, which is amazing. He's such a great narrator. Let's see, what is Anthony saying? B&M is a threat. You have to use it to keep be nice. I'm going to delay the end next week for B&M trilogy or pentology. It's gonna be B&M all day. I call it cat for them poetic justice. Yeah, that'd be fun. So who had to jump for work? You know, gotta jump for work. Oh, bye, Sandra. Yes, Stacy, Cold Girls. It's gonna be coming out, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And Brew and Chew, so they're gonna get into trouble. There's a cat breed called Munchkin, very anti-peaches. Who's that, Paige? What is a Munchkin? We should look that up. Because I was thinking of that. What is that called? The Maine something? The Maine Coon? What is that called? There's a Maine cat that's like enormous. Oh, it's so cute, but no, it's too cute. Oh, that would be perfect for Beggars and Bash. But I think that Maine cat that looks like it's a small tiger, the Maine Coon, it's like the biggest cat. Because we can make the cat the brains of the outfit. It's huge. Look at that. Maine Coons are like gigantic cats. So yeah. So maybe a Maine Coon for Bangers and Mash. That would be awesome. Thank you, Rita. I'm glad you liked Treadwell. Treadwell was a lot of fun to write too. It doesn't have the same humor as Monty Strong, but it has a different kind of interaction. A sentient opossum, yeah, but opossums just move so slow. I couldn't do that. Let me see. Let me put this link up. This is for the paperbacks. It could lecture them a sewer rat. No. I couldn't do that to sewer rats. Stacy says it can lecture them while being pampered and trust. True. The Maine Coons are. See, I need a cat that's big. So it's anti-peaches in the sense that it's not a hellhound, but it could be like a hell cat. So it's really good. Yeah. So like a Maine Coon would be perfect for them because a Maine Coon would fit in their pumpkin mobile easily. So yeah, or Norwegian forest cat. Jeez, that sounds big. Opossums. What am I thinking that moves really slow? I thought it was possums that move slow. Sloths? I'm hardly thinking of sloths. Yeah. How big is a Norwegian forest cat? It's not as big as a Maine Coon, is it? No, it doesn't look as big as it. I need something big and scary looking. What does it look like? Yeah, it looks a little wolfish. No, not a chupacabra. I need an actual cat that they can meet. And it latches onto them and then gives them attitude. So a Maine Coon would be perfect. Or yeah, half Maine Coon, half Fey cat. That's a good combination. Because it has to have some magical ability, right? So it can look like a Maine Coon, on our plane, but really be something fake somewhere else. And then they wouldn't know what to do with it because it's just too powerful. And I'll figure out why it would latch onto them. Maybe because it needs to save them because it feels sorry for the pair. All right, let's get to questions. Oh, geez, it's time. All right, let me go. I'm moving over to questions. So we did the agenda. Let's get to questions. We have questions. All right. So first of all, thank you guys for all these questions. You guys are amazing. So I really appreciate all the questions. So first question from Audrey. Orlando, what was something you believed when you were younger that you no longer believe? Monsters under the bed, maybe. I never had the monsters under the bed moment. I didn't really believe monsters that way. It was more monsters in the dark, but not in the under the bed. But I don't know. I don't really. My mind is such that it's open to fantastical and amazing things, which is why I can write. So a lot of stuff that I believe when I was younger, I probably still believe somewhere in the back of my mind. I don't discount things. So I've seen too many things in my life to be so certain that the reality that I perceive is the reality that exists. There's too many things out there that are inexplicable, as they say. So I'm of the mind that given the right circumstances, anything could be possible, which is what makes it easy for me to write books. Dolly, from your perspective, what is the most difficult part of being an independent author? Boom. I hope you heard that. I'm going to repeat it. But the health slash danger of consuming too much chocolate and coffee. That's the most dangerous. That's the most difficult part. Okay, Orlando, what is your favorite scene, chapter in any of your books? Wow. That's too many for me to name, Audrey. Let's see. I can tell you. The first time Peaches died, that was rough. The last time Peaches died in Archmage was amazing and hard to write. Let's see. Um, Most of the fight scenes in Night Warden, everything including Bug, because she's just a great character. Hmm. Yeah, a lot of them include like side characters. Like Yako has some great scenes in Remove the Council, and Iker. Anything with Iker. Most of the scenes in Nightwalker, wow, were fantastic with Iker. Iker's such a great character. So yeah, I'm gonna be biased and just say almost every scene and chapter in my book is my favorite. I love all those things because in retrospect, as I go back and read them, it's like, wow, that's really good. Like Dottie always gives me, grief about it. She always gives me grief about, and I read stuff that I've written and I act like I've never read it before because I'm truly surprised because sometimes when you write things, you're like in a fugue state, right? You're just writing, 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 and you're not really thinking about what you're writing in a sense. You're just getting the story out as you see it and not to imagine it. And then you go back and read and go, wow, that's really good writing. It's like, really? Really? So, yeah. So I'm going to I'd have to give that question more thought, Audrey. Off the top of my head, I would say any of Peaches' death scenes because of how impactful they are. Um, and any scenes with Bug in them, because she's such a singular character that she kind of stole the gatekeeper stories. So things like that. Anything where the side characters kind of take the story. And most of the scenes in Night Warden where Gray is trying to teach Coda something, and then he kicks ass because Gray is such a great character. They all are, but Gray has a special place in my heart. Okay. Oh, okay. Dolly's gonna answer your question seriously. For me, that was serious. I was like chocolate and coffee. Yeah, I don't think she's expecting it. So Dolly's gonna answer your question seriously, Audrey.
I'd say the most difficult part of being an independent author, from what I see, is that you're a balancing act between finding the time to write and making sure the business side works. Because it cannot just be either or. If you just sure some writers just want to write because they feel that you have to put something out there that's in their heart and their soul and their mind and don't care about the money. But if you've got a family and it's something that you're doing for your
You gotta switch hats.
the pecuniary concern is real. And with running the business side, it means you have to learn so much. You have to learn, for example, about ads, and those have some intricacies. You have to figure out social media, and each of them is different. They all have their own demographic.
Right.
They all have their way of targeting, the people who
Sure.
and how they. Oh no!
What happened?
One says you can't. Wait, you guys cannot hear me?
It was such a great answer. It was like the answer that was the answer to everything in the world.
Wait.
Because you speak too low.
Rico said sure also. No.
Oh, see? See?
Okay, I'm going to restart.
She's going to
So-
restart. We have time.
So, the most difficult part of being an
Wait.
independent
Make sure they can hear you. Can you hear her now? Now I sound like a Sprint commercial. Oh, that was a great answer. It was the secret of the universe. She just laid it all out. I'm so sorry you guys couldn't hear it.
Okay, so restarting. Again, the most difficult part of being an independent writer is that it's a balancing act between writing and running the business side of it. It cannot be either or. If some people just want to write because that's what they feel they have to do, and they have no concern about the pecuniary aspect, and that's great. But some people do it because it's their livelihood, and they have bills, they have a family, and that part, the business side, takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and so that there's an opportunity cost. You're either doing one or the other, and the marketing side takes a lot of work. You have because if you think about it, no independent author goes to school, to university, and learns how to run a writing business. Sure, you can learn to write as part of the university education, but typically a lot of writers, the creativity that they have doesn't come from taking classes. And running a business doesn't come from what you've learned in school. So everything, absolutely everything, is something you have to learn on the job.
It's a steep
As you
curve.
say, everything from knowing how to create ads, how to run them, and each of them, they have their idiosyncrasies.
Yes.
You cannot do what you do for running ads on Amazon as what you do on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. So each of those you have to learn, and then there's other things like having your newsletter, having your website, and that takes a lot of time to set it up properly. Um, so I think that's the difficult part, because you can't.
Yes, Stacey.
In order to make the writing work, in order to have books for the readers, because as a writer, you sort of take on the responsibility. If you start a series, you cannot, you shouldn't, just end it. You ideally don't want to have years in between books if it's a series. So there's
That's hard,
sort of, right. And of course, we're all people. Writers are also people. Authors are people.
We are.
But you've sort of taken on a responsibility. Great power, great responsibility.
Well, there's also there's an unspoken contract, right? That
Right.
When you write books, you're writing books. You're promising. There's an unspoken promise that you're not going to keep your readers waiting eternally for the next. Especially if you're writing a series, you're not keeping your readers waiting 2, 3, 4, 10 years between books, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, babe.
Right. So the books have to be produced at a fairly consistent and tight schedule.
Yes.
That means you have to be able to sustain it energy-wise and time-wise, and again financially, because having the time to write means you're not spending time doing the other stuff.
And there's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Audrey, I hope that answered your question. We could do a show, an episode, just on the two sides of writing, the creative side and the business side. I mean, we can actually do a show just on that, on what does it entail, what does it take to be a writer, especially an independent writer, like an indie writer, like what I am, and how much you have to learn. That's a fantastic answer, baby. Thank you. How much you have to learn or be willing to delegate in order to be successful as an independent writer, because there's just so much. Everyone thinks you just sit down and write. And yes, you have to write because that's, as I like to say, it's the engine for everything, right? You have to have the writing. You can't base the business on anything that's not writing. You got to have the writing. But then there's the marketing and the editing and the presence. Like, what social media are you going to be on? Okay, so you pick one, but now what are you going to do on that social media that you've chosen? How are you going to present yourself there? Then you got to think about, what's my brand as an author? How am I going to present myself to my readers? And so there's so much that goes into being an author that that most writers don't understand or don't expect when they first start writing. They think, I'm just going to write. And a lot of writers that's why they go the traditional route, although even that's changed now. But just saying, I'm just going to write, all I'm going to do is write, is not going to be enough if you want to be an author today, in this time. You have to do more than just write. You got to market. You got to go out there and talk to people. You got to go out there and put yourself out there, which is so hard for authors to do, because by nature, authors are introverts. That's the reason why they're authors. We don't want to deal with anybody. I just want to write. And I don't want to deal with people. So the hardest part for a lot of authors is to put themselves out there. Then you've got to network. You've got to speak to other authors. You've got to communicate with other authors. Hopefully in your genre, but just go out there and be able to speak to other authors in a way that creates bridges for you, so that when you do become more successful, you can, connect and help each other and promote each other. Like I have with John Lodson and other authors, kind of the same thing, Chris and other people like that. You want to be in a hub of other authors that can each help each other. Then you need a dollar. That's why I told this to a lot of authors. There's another part. But let me just say this part first. So I've explained that you need, if you're going to do this, you have to have someone who can support you. Go.
Okay. So something else that a lot of...
Speak loud.
Yes. Something else that a lot of readers do not know, and frankly, it's not their business to know it, but it's something that is very, very relevant and important to authors. It's that big businesses do not have independent authors' welfare in mind. They do not care, really. The amount of royalty that Amazon, for example, takes from an author is bigger than people realize.
Sure.
For authors that are in KU, the amount that an author gets per page
is
absolute
pennies.
And the only way for an author to make a living is to have thousands and thousands of read in KU.
Right.
And I think a lot of readers do not know that being in KU, Amazon doesn't allow a reader's books to be ebooks to be sold anywhere else.
It's an exclusive.
Worse, it's not allowed in libraries. So a lot of people who, would love to have the opportunity to read a book for free, because they cannot afford it, they do not have that opportunity at all.
Yeah.
Other things like, Facebook, they have, if you're going to use their ads, you have to pay them immediately at the end of the month.
At the end of the month, they want their money. Facebook.
Let's say a business like Amazon, they're going to pay the author after 2 months. So now you have this lag.
A 30-day lag.
You're paying immediately up front, but the revenues are coming with a 2-month lag. And that can take a lot of authors out of business.
Yeah. So yes, Stacy, I am blessed to have her, and yes, Anthony can definitely create a dating site for authors called Dolster. Yes, I told her to shout because she's very soft spoken. So she thinks that she's being heard. Out of the two of us, I'm the loud one, right? Even when okay, let's say the kids are doing something that she raises her voice at them, her voice doesn't leave the room. It doesn't carry. It doesn't. There's no depth to it. It doesn't, like, she'll be like, "Go eat," right, and it'll be like, "Go eat." So it doesn't. I tell her they didn't hear that. You're gonna have to put something more behind that, that yelling. So she's very naturally soft spoken. She speaks very softly, and she gets herself heard. But if in something like this, where the mic is back there, she has to project her voice just a little bit.
You just put intercoms in every room.
Yes, I will do that. Intercoms in every room. Okay, we still have questions, so I'm going to get to them because that's what we do. Okay, Chris Chrisman asks, Easter eggs that readers love to find. After writing 50 plus books, are you ever surprised when one appears that you don't remember writing deliberately? Every single time. There are Easter eggs that I've written that a reader comes back months later and says, oh no, even better. I love that reference to such and such. And I'm like, what reference to what? Because I don't remember the Easter egg at all. And I know I've written one, or I'll get that reference to this was fantastic. And I'm like, okay, sure. Can you tell me exactly which reference you're referring to? And then they'll write it down, and I'm like, I have no recollection of writing that. But they'll send me a screenshot of the page with the Easter egg in it, so I know I wrote it. I have no memory of it. And so, yeah, there's a lot of books that I'm sure there are Easter eggs in there, and I'm like, okay. And then next question. Do I have a favorite Easter egg besides I'm Your Huckleberry? I love I'm Your Huckleberry because, come on, Tombstone. But my favorite Easter egg is The Princess Bride, the entire movie, because I try to include at least one line from The Princess Bride in every story somewhere. That's the constant Easter egg. It's everywhere. In Entropy, I did it, but you got to find it. But in every book, I try to include one line from The Princess Bride. Because, come on, it's The Princess Bride. Kidding me? So yeah, yeah. Once she can get it up, she can definitely get her voice up there. Once she get her voice out up there, come on, this is a PG show. Life is pain. Anyone that tells you otherwise is trying to sell you something, right, Stacy? Okay, it wouldn't hurt to get a little better microphone. We could, but we don't do shows that much. I mean, we do these shows, but I guess we can go get. We might have to invest in a Shure microphone, just for the audio quality. There's an actual microphone. I was speaking with John about that, about the setup for a better set for the shows. Yeah, a better mic and things like that. So yeah, he was giving me model numbers and everything to look at. Okay, it'll be easier because then we can put the mic here, and then you can speak and it'll pick you up easily. And then you wouldn't need to raise your voice. Princess Bride, yes. I try to include something from The Princess Bride because it's The Princess Bride, and yeah, exactly. I don't know, Anthony, in regards to anyone getting that answer of 42, only those who love Douglas Adams will get it. So maybe. Yes, and a better mic would help with the YouTube podcast, so that would be good too. So I might have to look at getting a better mic. One more thought. Who's the Facebook user with one more thought? You? Oh, let me read it. Author-writer connections is what works. While big businesses choose themselves over indie authors, the biggest supporter for an indie author is another indie author, and their readers. Though I have to say their readers too. The greatest help and championing comes from the indie community. I think that's very true. Other authors usually are very generous helping other authors. So yes. I don't really need a mic because I'm right here, and so I'm loud enough, I think. But if I want her to speak and to share her wisdom, the mic is important because it'll pick up her voice clearly. So that's really good. Let's see, back to romance. It's there somewhere, buried deep in the author psyche. No. There's no romance in my psyche. I have to force it to happen, which is why you don't really see romance in my stories. So Rico's asking me before we close, because it's 12:45. Who is your best supporting character in your books and why? Ooh. Okay. The easy answer. Oh well, he's not a supporting character. I would say Peaches, but he's not a supporting character. He's a main character. I would even say Dex, but he's really not a supporting character either. He's a main character. The best supporting character, uh, but then she became the main character, was Bug. So it's hard because my supporting characters always end up, they're so well done usually that they end up being main characters. So my favorite supporting character, all my characters are my favorite in terms of supporting characters. They're all amazing and unique. But I would say Bug is my favorite supporting character because she is just amazing. And I think the last Patreon story, Terminal Velocity, was a Bug story. So it was awesome. But yeah, I would say Bug and maybe a toss up between Bug and Frank because Frank is badass too. So Marie said Frank. So Bug and Frank, but definitely those two as supporting characters are amazing. And actually, as you saw, Bug has her own book. The Way of Bug. It was easy to write that story. It was so easy because she's such a great character. But she's a supporting character. That what I try to do with my supporting characters is I write them as if they were main characters. So Bug could easily have a series of her own. Frank might be a little harder, but Frank can have a series of his own too. All right, guys, we gotta go. So I want to say bye to everyone who has to go. Bye, Audrey. Thank you so much, everyone, for your amazing questions. You guys are fantastic. We're gonna wrap this up because you guys now we're gonna be here all day. I want to thank you all for being here today. You guys are great. Wherever you are, be safe, and I'm gonna give you the 3 B's: be kind, be unstoppable, and be uncommon, because you guys are awesome. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. The next MoB Kaffeeklatsch will be in 2 weeks. So the 3rd of November. Wow, it's already November. We're going to be in November. Wow. Thank you guys for being here. It's awesome. It's always great to have you guys here. Take care. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And bye. Want to say bye?
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys. I'm ending the stream. I'm really ending it this time, I think.